I think we've got time for one more question, and we're going to go to the birthday girl, Tanya, in Wisconsin. Happy birthday. I know I'm a little
Thank you
early,
so
but
much. Yeah,
happy
you're
birthday.
early. That's okay. It's okay. I'm hitting the big 50 tomorrow. So
Oh, that's exciting.
yeah. Feels weird. Welcome to the club, right? So this is just more commentary. I think what's really important as a leader today is that we have to play such an important part in the emotional intelligence piece of the business. And I think sometimes leaders don't devote any of that time to their people. And it's always, the purpose is always bottom line, it's always sales, and that's the focus. And so I think, just having that dialogue and having that open conversation about, just whatever it may be, just putting some personal perspective to the environment, I think can also help bring people to the table and have that voice and have that engagement. And I think we've all been in experiences or in places where we have been led through fear, or we have been, I'm only going to say what I think my boss wants me to say, because if I say anything wrong, I know I'm going to get counseled on it. And so today's a different world. I think there's this diversity of thought and ideation that we really have to be open to, and not just talk the talk, but walk the walk. And, that's just my perspective on leadership, on, engagement, on work environment, on all of those things.
Absolutely. And two things I wanted to pick up on. So I think one of the biggest mistakes that we make with managers and leaders is not giving them that space to do their job as leaders. So, I felt this myself, I had to manage processes and things like that. And I had 10% of my time to manage people. So, that's why I think things like job design are so important, is that,
Absolutely.
because we're setting our managers up for failure. There's no
Absolutely.
way that they're going to be able, especially these days. I actually, during the pandemic, changed my definition of employee engagement and added a fourth element, because I think an engaged employee believes that their company cares about them.
Yep.
And great manager cares.
I also think great managers are not always great leaders. And sometimes we let the numbers drive the promotion. And I think there's other variables that come into the decision making of that. So,
yeah. And that's where all of the bridge, I think, really makes a difference, because a lot of times that again fits into job design, because the only way to go to make more money is to be a manager. So what are we doing so that we can let people feel like they're progressing, maybe in an individual contributor track or something like that? And the other thing I just wanted to quickly pick up on that you mentioned, the second part of it is, has anybody ever heard of the iceberg of ignorance? It's this great model that talks about how only 10% of problems in an organization are known at the top level, because to your point, as you said, Tanya, people are afraid to say things. And we share that in the communications chapter, because it's so important to make sure that you hear of all those icebergs and you hear of all those great ideas.
Yeah, it's amazing. That was really powerful in the book, because you could visually see, like, the knowledge is all with everybody kind of at that bottom of the iceberg, and the CEO or the executive leadership team is kind of completely blind to really what's happening.
Yeah, my story that I love about that one is when I worked at Legoland, someone who worked right down there letting people on the rides saw that all the parents were getting pissed at their kids for being so, couldn't handle waiting in the lines. So he came up with this idea of putting tables in the middle of the lines with Legos so the kids could play instead of standing there driving their parents insane. Now, my CEO would have never thought of that, because he wasn't in the middle of the fire. It was only this, entry-level employee who came up with that idea. And I have to tell you, it probably got us so many more customers just because of his one brilliant idea.